afternoon and welcome to the January edition of the Lit Gals. I'm Martie Hoofer, Digital Content Manager for Keep Indiana Learning, and so glad to be with you today.
Hi, I'm Morgan Mason. I am one of the professional learning specialists at Keep Indiana Learning. I have been on maternity leave, but I have been so looking forward to be back on this show and see my girls. I've got my littlest girl here with me, but hope she cooperates while we chat about our favorite books. So,
she will be fine. She will be fine. She can do no wrong, Morgan.
I think so too, but.
Oh, and I'm Anna Cook, and I'm a literacy specialist, just spreading all things literacy here in Indiana and then in neighboring states. And I love this topic. You know I do. I love, love, love. We are talking about read alouds. And read alouds are so near and dear to my heart. I can remember vividly being read to first by my mom and also by the teachers in my elementary. The most vivid remembrance of a read aloud was a teacher, a fifth grade teacher, who read Where the Red Fern Grows. And I've got to tell you, that's what hooked me onto reading is that book alone. And she took the time to really read it beautifully and to really just show her love of reading, if you will. And so when I became an educator, I thought, I want to do that too. I want read alouds to be just as important in the first grade when I taught than in the college classes that I taught as well. And I did. I read to my college students just as wholeheartedly as I did with my primary or my fourth and fifth grade students. And then when I became an administrator, both in the school, an administrator for middle school and high school, I read to them. And it was really interesting, gals. They absolutely loved it when I came in with a book.
Yeah.
And so I still, talk about read alouds wherever I go. In fact, World Read Aloud Day is February the 4th, gals.
Yep.
And I am going to be in two schools that day. And I'm going to be reading to 7th and 8th graders along with elementary school students as well. And, we're going to talk, I know we're going to talk more about the value of reading aloud, but we need to be reading more to our students. Our students are not hearing the rich literature. They're just not.
Well, one of the value I think that reading aloud brings to a classroom, to a bedroom, if you're reading to a kid, a couch, a library, story time, wherever that's happening, is that kids can understand spoken language that they can't read themselves. So I can present a book to students that they couldn't tackle on their own. And so I think that's one of the values of reading aloud is it allows you to tackle something that's a little harder than I can do on my own. And I'll be honest with you, if people didn't like to be read to, Audible would not exist.
Yeah.
Ooh, listen to that. I love that quote.
Clearly, clearly there is a market. And I mean, if you think about books, people being read to, books on tape go all the way. I mean, books on tape. That's all I need to say. We go back to cassette tape days.
Right.
And so there is clearly a market for this. So why it gets kind of downplayed in the classroom, I'll live my whole life never understanding. And that's where I'll leave that.
Yeah. Well, Martie, to piggyback on what you just said, Libby is an app. It's for free, right, through your library. And I cannot tell you how many times I have tried to get a book on tape so I can hear it, on my phone and everything. Weeks on end before I can get it. So you're absolutely right. More and more people want to listen to books, listen to stories, and so you are right. But I'm going to also talk about your bewilderment, if you will, about why more teachers don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because we have state standards, we've got testing, we've got lots of things that we need to do.
Yeah.
And so a read aloud, right? Oh, it's a waste. It's a waste of time, or it's a waste of my energy, or whatever, or the kids listening. And, that's the reason that Keep Indiana Learning and Anna Cook's and Martie's and Morgan's sat there and really said, Read Aloud's focus on instruction. I know that we've all either written blogs or talked at different conferences on that, but the value of Read Alouds.
Yeah, there's so much value. I agree, Martie. I was also going to bring up just the accessibility that Read Alouds give to students, especially as a first grade teacher. I mean, you have kids coming in that have never been to school. You have kids coming in that are already reading chapter books. So just being able to sit down and do a read aloud with them, make sure that every single kiddo that's sitting in that room is getting access to that text, even if it's not something that they would be able to do on their own.
Yeah.
I'm a huge proponent for read alouds in my own home as well. I actually, as we started talking, I was thinking back on my son turns 4 this weekend, which is just crazy. But I made my husband start reading out loud to him when he was little. And I just remember my husband feeling so like awkward and weird. I mean, he lives in the marketing world. He's not in education. And he was like, this feels so silly to me to like read aloud to this little baby. And now I go into the bedroom and he's reading to our 2 boys and he has all the voices and he's getting so into it. And it's been cool to see him get over that hump of like, it's kind of weird to read out loud to this little kid that doesn't know what's going on to he's in it now.
Good. Yeah.
So you guys want to hear what I brought to share?
Yes. So what'd you bring?
Okay. Yes.
It was hard. It was hard to narrow it down because I kept going back to like, I used to do this read aloud in the classroom. I used to do this, but I narrowed it down to 2. So the first one is, what do you do with an idea?
Oh my gosh. I've got that. And I read it out loud last year to middle school students.
Yes.
It's by Kobi Yamada. I don't know if I said that right, but yes, this is one that I truly think could be adapted for any grade level. I actually, funny story, the first time that I heard of this book, my then boyfriend, now husband's roommate at the time, his grandma gifted him this book. He was at a place where he was like kind of lost and didn't know where he wanted to go with his career. We were like fresh out of college, and his grandma gifted him this because he always has ideas. Oh. And he ended up giving it to me because he was like, I read it, it's cute, but like, what am I going to do with it, kind of thing. And so he was like, I know that you could use this in your classroom. Anyways, it became a regular read, whether I was teaching first grade, fourth grade. It's just inspiring, and it gets you talking, it gets you thinking. So that's one of my favorite read alouds for any age. The other one, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this one. This one is so much fun. It is called Please Don't Read This Book. It is by Deanna Kizis. Guys, this is just so fun for any kiddo. I mean, even maybe middle schoolers wouldn't appreciate it as much, but I'm just going to read you one page that I bookmarked. So the whole point of the book is this little like blob character. He's like, don't read this book. Whatever you do, don't read it. And if you do read it, you have to follow these rules. And one of the pages says, okay, you really need to follow the rules of this book or you're going to have too much fun. And that would be terrible. So whatever you do, do not make the weirdest, silliest, most redonkadonk face that you possibly can. And when I tell you, my boys immediately make the most redonkadonk face that they could possibly think of, and then just laugh and laugh. It is such a fun book.
Of course they do.
This is a fun one to read aloud. And I imagine, I did not have this as a first grade teacher, but I imagine that it would land really well with the elementary kiddos also.
And honestly, Morgan, you said it might not play in a middle school classroom. I had some favorite read alouds that I shared with my middle schoolers that were just funny. John Clausen's This Is Not a Hat, Don't Steal My Hat, that whole hat series with John Clausen. Could I have found standards to do something with it? Yes. Did some books we read just for fun at the end of class when we have 5 minutes that we don't know what else to do with? Yes.
Yeah.
And Morgan, what a fun book that would be to do that with.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Aw.
All right. Well, I think it's my turn. I'm going to share with you middle school books that I used all of these multiple times in my middle school classroom. And I think I've probably shared them on different shows for different purposes, but they're all just tried and true winners. And the way I would pick a read aloud for a middle school is it had to have short chapters or regular section breaks, because I had 47 minutes. I had to get to my other content, but I knew there was value here. I just needed logical places to stop that were easy.
Yeah.
So that was a criteria for me. And so this was the book that turned me on to reading aloud. It's called Code of Honor by Alan Gratz. Frankly, you can never go wrong with Alan Gratz, his historical fiction stuff. This one is more modern setting, and it is like a thriller action book, and the kids ate it up.
Wow.
Oh, it would be can we read more? Can we read more?
Yeah.
No. So this was the one that started me on classroom read alouds. And then when I realized what a great tool they were, then I started picking with a little more intentionality. This one, Ghost Boys by Jewel Parker Rhodes, phenomenal current events and some social studies, civics lessons woven in. So it allowed me to, this is where, Anna, something you said earlier, I thought, people say we don't have enough time. Well, by reading this book, I also taught a little bit of American history. And I could have taught, I don't know, I don't have a book laying on my desk where I could do this with, but I could teach a little bit of STEM, or I could teach a little bit of something else in my read aloud. So I think that's a way you can double dip. And,
I agree.
Yeah. Ghost Boys, phenomenal. This one, he's my favorite male character in a YA book ever. His name is Scoob, Scoob, and Scoob goes on a road trip with his grandma, and it's called Clean Getaway, and you can see their motorhome there is doing a wheelie, which is so funny. And you can see he's holding a green book. Well, my students did not know that there were places in both the North and the South as recently as the 1960s that were not safe for African Americans to stay in. And we got to learn about the Green Book that shared safe lodging and safe restaurants. And this book led to lots of really rich discussions that I'm so thankful to share with my kids. The other two books that I don't have on me because I realized I had all male main characters here. I tried to rotate every semester. I could do a book a semester. So I tried to rotate a male main character and a female main character. My two favorite female books were From the Desk of Zoe Washington. You can learn more about that in the episode we did with Yay STEM back in December. We talked about Zoe Washington. She's phenomenal. Lots of good discussion there. And then Front Desk by Kelly Yang would be a great book to do right now with immigration conversations. So I loved read alouds because they allowed me to have shared stories with all my students. So when we were talking about theme or we were talking about setting, well, we had all read this. So I had an automatic text that we could use if we read nothing else.
Yeah.
That's where I used it. Oh, Anna's having some internet problems, so I'm going to pull her out of the stream. So go ahead, Morgan.
All I want to say is that it was probably so awesome to be a middle school student in your classroom. Like,
Oh.
I would have loved to show up to your class every day, knowing that even if it was just a few minutes, that I could jump back into whatever the story was that you were reading at the time. Like,
Well, and honestly, Morgan, I used it to my advantage. When the bell would ring to start reading class, I knew exactly what page 6th period was on. And I would take this book, I would hold it during hall duty, and I would just walk in when the bell rang and start reading. And if they weren't quiet, they missed it. And it wasn't my problem.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Because I can imagine that otherwise getting a middle school class settled down, quiet, ready to learn is not the easiest task. I mean, first grade wasn't easy either.
Right. Let's just say I didn't have a read aloud in writing class, and it was a different monster to get writing class started than it was to get reading class started.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah.
We do
Well, I think Anna's back. So, hey, Anna, you're back.
Hi, girls. Sorry about that. The internet. Need I say more?
Yes.
Okay, so for middle school or upper elementary, if you will, tripping over the lunch lady and other school stories. It's so cute. But it's all these little short stories that you could definitely read very quickly. But the thing that I love most about this is that they are written by middle school and upper elementary students.
That is so cool.
And then they were edited by Nancy Mercado.
Okay.
So I just love this. And I loved reading, these little short stories. So some of the titles, Experts Incorporated, Science Friction, The Grade School Zone. I mean, just fun short stories that, like I said, upper elementary and then middle school, they would love to read or hear.
I can imagine that it was pretty inspiring for them too, to not only get to enjoy this fun little story, but be like, oh, someone my age wrote that.
Oh yeah. And there they are back there. So yeah, it most definitely, they love that. And then girls, I just tapped upon this past during the holiday season. What should Danny do? And it is the Power to Choose series. And Morgan, I highly suggest for your boys. But it is all about Danny, and inevitably there's a dilemma, and he's got the superpower to choose. And I loved reading this to my middle grandson, Easton, because we would go through different scenarios, and then you would find out what happens when Danny chooses a different path.
So are they like an elementary school version of Choose Your Own Adventure books?
Yeah. But this is like everyday things that happen.
Life skills, like how
and they've got a whole series of them. So there's also What Should Danny Do on Vacation? I mean, he really enjoyed it. He enjoyed them. And it was then good time for us to sit and discuss, why did we choose this, or what would have been a better choice? But I love the superpower theme, right? And the power to choose. And there's actually, it says 9 stories in one. So there's different choices they could make.
Love it.
Yeah. So Morgan, you'll have to get this for the boys.
Yes. So we got one of them for Christmas, and it's
you did? Oh, good.
I forgot about it until you just showed up with this one, and now I'm excited to pull it off the shelf tonight, and we're going to read that before bed. Good.
Yeah. So that's what I've got to offer, and then of course Where the Red Fern Grows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
And
read that
honestly,
every year, you guys, I read that every year, whether they wanted me to or not. I read it because it just,
You
it's
have
near
to.
and dear.
yeah. All right. Well, now for maybe I love all of our show, but this is maybe I won't say my favorite segment. This is the segment of our show where my to be read list grows.
Always grows.
So that, I won't call it my favorite. It's just the one that generates more titles for me. So let's talk about what we're currently reading. So Morgan, what you got?
Oh, you guys,
Oh,
this book, The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. She's the author of the Fourth Wing series. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one. This is totally different than that. That's more like romantasy, fantasy. This is I am like emotionally wrecked by this book, and I am about 2/3 of the way finished.
Whoa.
It's a love story. It's emotional. It's sad. I mean, I've sobbed through it partially already. It is so good. A friend of mine, she finished it in just a few days and was like, texted me and was like, Morgan, I'm getting this book to you. You have to read it.
Aww.
It's so good. So good.
Nice.
So
Good.
be prepared to shed some tears if you read that.
Mhm.
The other one that I'm listening to right now is, and I feel like I may have mentioned it on the last show because I was getting ready to start it. It is called, oh gosh, what is it called? I got to pull it up on my Audible. I'm drawing a blank. Mom brain is hurting me right now.
That's okay. That's okay. Give yourself grace.
Who Fears Death?
Mm.
By, I'm not even going to try and pronounce her name, but this is what it looks like.
okay.
I'm listening to this, and it is, I will say that it has been a challenge for me. We've talked before about how book club books, we like that they challenge us. They're usually books we wouldn't choose for ourselves. And this is one that's very much out of my comfort zone.
Mhm.
So I'm on chapter 19. It looks like I have about 5 hours left to listen to, but it is, I'll report back next month on how
Please.
it ends, because I'm still trying to figure it out.
Oh,
It's one of those that I'm like really having to pay attention to,
okay.
because there's a lot of like, there's a lot of like African names, like language that I'm not familiar with. If I was picking up the book and reading it, I would have a hard time. So that's why I listen to it as a read aloud instead. So so I don't have too much to say about it yet, but I'm being challenged by it. So
Good.
yeah.
I love it that you're living. Part of our first point of our show is that when you listen to books, it allows you to go above what you can do with your eyeballs, and now you're living it.
Yeah.
We remember those books that had a lot of French words and French, and I was like, oh gosh. But when I listened to it, loved it.
Yeah.
Read the next book.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, listen to the next book.
Yeah.
Right. No, you read it with your ears.
I
read
did.
it.
I did. Thank you, Martie.
Anna, what are you doing right now?
Okay, this is it's so good and so appropriate right now in the winter time, especially when it's so cold. It's called Tisha. It is the wonderful true story of a young teacher in the Alaskan wilderness back in the late 1920s, 1930s. This teacher wanted to teach in Alaska.
Wow.
And she is Ann Purdy. She told the story, and Robert Specht was the one then that wrote the book. But this is so good. And like I said, it's so appropriate for right now when it's so cold. But when they start talking about 30 below zero and 40 below zero, and getting, on the sled to sled over to wherever, you're like, oh my gosh.
Wouldn't choose that life.
True story.
And that's one of those books. It's like, and this is why I read, so I can live a life that I'm not going to live.
Yeah. Or not to complain when it's 20 degrees and we're freezing.
Yes. Good point.
Loved it. Loved it though, girls. Loved it. Very
Hey,
good.
something I forgot to mention earlier. I want to give a shout out to a teacher in West Michigan by the name of Kobi Sharp. If you are inspired to read aloud to your students, look up Kobi Sharp.
Okay.
He does a weekly newsletter. He shares what he's reading in his 5th grade classroom. It's always full of great books to try out. You can find him on Substack. You can find him on Instagram, I believe. Just Google Kobi Sharp. And he's such an inspiration when it comes to read aloud. So wanted to make sure I gave him a quick shout out.
Thank you, Martie.
Yes. So the book I'm currently reading is called The Scammer by Tiffany Jackson. She is a young adult writer. She's most famous for her debut novel, which is called Monday's Not Coming. And Monday is not the day of the week. It's a girl's name. And it's a heartbreaking, fantastic novel. But The Scammer is what I'm reading now of hers. And I'm not far enough into it to know exactly what I think of it, but I can tell you the main male character, I despise him. And every time his name is on the page, I get angry, and I just don't like this guy. And I'm screaming at the girl that's around him all the time, go away from him. He's bad news. So I'm very invested in this story, and I don't know where it's going. I'm hoping for a happy ending, but I don't know yet.
Okay, I can't wait to hear.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up our show for this month. Thank you for being here with us. We would love to hear what books you've listened to as a student, listened to as an adult on your Audible, and send us an email here at Keep Indiana Learning. We'd love to hear from you. Like Morgan said last time, we're always looking for new show ideas as well. So shoot us an email, and we would love to hear from you. So as always, we end with be well.
Do good work.
Keep in touch.
Thank you.